Hello, once again, Jesse Jardine with Speed Metal Pickups. So, today we're going to go through a pretty cool collection. Not cruel, cool. And yeah, I haven't really gotten a lot of cool collections in a while. It's been a little stuff here and there, you know, whatever. I don't really want to do a full video for like a little thing anymore. These are actually pretty time consuming, having to go through every box. I probably won't go through every box because I think it's like 16 short boxes or something like that. Yeah, something like that. It's a lot. A little information for anyone interested in this collection. It's already down at the auction house, so it's ready to go already. So the big stuff is going to be ran July 14th, 9 a.m. Pacific time start. And then we couldn't get everything in this week, so the next week, but all the heater books are in this week. So you want some of the crazy stuff, this is the week to do it. The entire auction is going to be on there the 14th, and then the following Monday, the rest of the stuff will go up. Put in SM in your username when you create it, or you can adjust your old username. Just put it at the front or the end just so it says SM so that they know what to look for, and you get $25 off whatever you buy. So I don't think you can use it towards shipping, but you can use it for whatever. So there's a free $25 there. And yeah, so every Monday I'll be taking stuff, but this whole collection will be there. So if you want anything from this collection, that's the place to do it. They ship all over North America. So yeah, SM for $25 off. Someone contacted me and told me that someone passed away, their uncle, and they're looking to sell this collection. So they were out in Port Coquitlam, which kind of worked because my auction house is in Port Moody. So I went to the auction house and then ripped over there. It was in their grandpa's house, and he had all these hats on the walls. And I was like, I like your hat collection. He's like, it's not a collection. And I'm like, okay. And there's like 100 hats on a wall. I'm like, that's a collection. You're a hat collector. He's like, no, I'm not. I'm like, all right, dude, whatever. So I start going through this stuff, and right away I find a Hulk 181 and a Hulk 180. And I'm like, oh, sweet. It's one of those collections that's kind of hard to go through because all the plastic, they're all in plastic, but then there was like Scotch tape on them, and over 20, 30 years, Scotch tape literally turns into glue. So like everyone has to be like peeled apart, right? So it's kind of hard to go through, but I got a pretty good idea of what was in there. And I'm like, damn. But then there was some weird stuff. For instance, Amazing Spider-Man started at 130. There's no 129. I'm like, that's a little weird. And then there was no 238 in there. And then it stopped pretty far, but there wasn't even a 252. I think it kind of stopped around 240 or something. Or no, I think it stopped at 235. So I was like, that's kind of weird. It's missing a lot of keys. There was the Black Cat in there, but that was about the only one for the Amazing Spider-Man. But the weird thing was that there was like Fantastic Four starting from like 15, Avengers starting from like 15, Hulk starting from 102, Thor starting pretty early. So the Amazing Spider-Man probably should have been purchased around the same time, I thought, right? So, and then the other thing, so I'm going through Fantastic Four, what's everyone looking for in those, you know, mid ones, 48, 49, and 50 a little bit, but 48, 49, and 50 are all missing, but all the other ones are there. And I'm like, that's a little sus. Same with some of the X-Men books. 141 was missing. And yeah, so I was just like, it kind of seemed like picked through, but it definitely wasn't picked through from those guys because we literally opened the boxes right there. So yeah, so I was going through. It was a pretty cool collection, but like I said, a lot of the keys were missing. I couldn't really see condition through the plastic. So we made a deal, but tentatively, because they said that there is a couple more boxes in there. And the other really weird thing, no Batman. Bunch of Action Comics, bunch of Superman, no Batman. I've never gotten a collection that had no Batman. So I'm pretty sure there's a Batman box, and there was also a bunch of Iron Man annual, but no Iron Man. So I think there's going to be a Batman box and an Iron Man box. And I'm hoping there's a box of just straight keys or a box of Amazing Spider-Man from the early stuff. That would be super sick. But he took a long time to get back to me. I hope we're still getting together. He actually turned out to be, he was around my age. We talked about video games a lot. He actually turned out to be, like I'm in the metal scene in Vancouver, obviously, and there's like different genres. So there's like stoner metal bands, and his little brother played in these bands. I kind of know him a little bit. Not like really good friends or nothing, but it was still kind of cool. And yeah, so anyways, he transferred him the money and then brought the collection home and started going through it. So my girlfriend and I went through and bagged and boarded a lot of the stuff. I've been pressing some of this stuff already, but it's still a pretty awesome haul. And depending on when I get in to see that next one, there might be an addendum right about here with the rest of the collection. But as it stands now, it looks like I'm missing a couple books. And of course, the Hulk 181 did have the Marvel value stamp missing. All right, so we're doing a giveaway here. We got 2 different prize packs. The first one is like a Spider-Man and Ghost Rider prize pack. So you're gonna get 3 9.8 slabs valued at probably above 300 US. The way to enter is we're gonna have the classic crap you gotta do. If you're on YouTube, like this video, share the video, and comment down below, just whatever. You can even call me a dumbass. I don't really care. If you want to enter again, go on Instagram, follow me, share this video, and tag 3 people. eBay is another way to enter, so you can get 3 entries total. Follow me on there. There's like a little heart you can click. Shoot me a message. I don't know how else I would find you if you don't shoot me a message. One of the coolest things was the Ghost Rider, so yeah, almost a complete run. I had to go on eBay and buy a couple to complete it. But yeah, so pretty damn cool collection with a lot of complete runs of stuff. And yeah, so I guess we're just going to get right into it. That's why y'all are here, to see the cool shit that I buy, right? Anyways, let's get into it. All right, so this is taking a long time to get together, and everything's kind of mixed around my apartment right now, but we'll just start with the big boys. We got Hulk 180. It's pretty nice apart from this big crease down the side, but it is complete too. We got Hulk 181. Pretty nice. I'd say it's probably in the 7.0 condition. Fortunately, Marvel value stamp is gone, but what are you gonna do? So giant size XMen, looking pretty good, apart from, kind of hard to see. There's a bit of a line there, but not the worst copy. This spine's a little crushed, but yeah. Okay, we got Amazing Spider-Man 194. This was like the only Spider-Man key left in there. Like I said, there was a lot of stuff removed, but, and you'll see I have these all ready for the auction. So there was actually 2 more copies of this that were like 9.8. This one's pretty nice, like a 9.4 or something. But and yeah, so those are like the brothers. All right, so this is a bunch of 9.8 pre-screens, 50 here that I'm actually going to send in. So there's some that are just going to need another press, like some of these. All these came from this collection too. So there was some 9.8s. It seemed like whoever bought this collection, like doubled up in the end on like a lot of stuff. So luckily there was 2 of these that are both 9.8 contenders, which is pretty insane. G.I. Joe number 1. That was from an old collection. That one's in there too. That's from an old collection too. This one. There's a bunch of copies of that. 2 of this that are hopefully both 9.8s, but we'll see. 2 of this. 1 of these I don't think will get a 9.8, but can try. That's the potential 9.8. This one has a little chip out of the top right. So we'll see how nice the graders are. I'm going to mix those up between the 2. So yeah, a couple of these. So yeah, these were, I pulled out a lot of potential 9.8 stuff out of this. A lot of it needs a lot of work, because the way they were taped, there's like a crease on a lot of them that needs like 2 or 3 presses. So a lot of these old G.I. Joes. Amazing Spider-Man. I always loved this cover. And yeah, I think we're pretty much near the end here. But yeah, those are all ready to go. So yeah, this was a pretty massive collection. I haven't picked up something this big in a while. So the collection used these type of things to space everything out. And this collection might have had some carpet beetles in it, because I've seen some carpet beetles around here lately. But we'll see. It's not exactly the easiest getting into these boxes. Okay. Sorry, I could probably do this a lot better, but this is how we've chosen to do it. Avengers 17, no real significance. 20. First Power Man. First Bill Foster as Black Goliath. First Living Laser. First Hercules vs. Zeus there. First Red Guardian. Hercules joins the Avengers. First Whirlwind. First Dane Whitman. Like, for instance, a lot of stuff's been removed. Like 48, the first official Black Knight is gone. So I think someone got rid of a bunch of stuff, but first Ultron, there's a cool one. Classic cover there. So, first Man-Ape, first Barney Barton Trick Shot, last 12-cent Avengers, first mention of Ultron 6, first Grandmaster, first Squadron Sinister, Monica Lynn, whoever the crap that is. I'm trying to swear less on camera anyways. First Archon, first Lethal Legion, I think we're kind of out of the key territory now. First Squadron Supreme, Origin of Black Panther, first Mantis, first Panther, first Taskmaster. Remember when this was a big book? Too bad they ruined it. I actually really like Taskmaster. Holy, shut up out there. First Amenhotep. First Nuclo. Now we're into the giant size and the annuals. First Scarlet Centurion. First Infinity Gems and death of a lot of characters. And then first Rogue newsstand. So, like, this has been a lot of work already, what we've done. But, like, rebagging and boarding all these. Like, some of these aren't bad, you know. But some of them are, like, literally glued. Like, they need to be peeled off of each other. If you can see. None of these are real bad. But some of them, like, literally need to be, like, forcefully pulled apart. But, like I said, he bought, like, multiples of stuff in the end. You see how this all just comes out as one big chunk? Yeah. So it was a lot of work. I had to get the girlfriend to pull them apart so that I wouldn't get glue all over my hands when touching the comics. But yeah, these are, like, the multiples that he bought in the back here. Look at that. That's how hard it is to get off. Fun times. Now we got Amazing Spider-Man starting at 130. Kind of a shame it didn't start at 129. Like I said, a lot of stuff's been pulled out. Like, the only key I actually found was that Black Cat. Well, no, there's, I guess this is kind of a key. The second Punisher and the third Punisher. Awesome covers. First Harry Osborn as Green Goblin. Second Harry Osborn as Green Goblin. First Mindworm. First Grizzly. First Gloria. First of the second Mysterio. First Gwen Stacy clone. Peter Parker and Mary Jane kiss. First Gwen Stacy clone. First Ben Reilly. And that's about it for that. Then pretty cool cover. Peter Parker's parents killed by the Red Skull, and reprint of the Sinister Six. A lot of these annuals are just reprints for Shocker. Some cool stuff, but not the keys you would like. Alright, so yeah, the X-Men had some pretty good stuff starting at number 12. First Juggernaut. Second Juggernaut. First Sentinels. First Master Mold. First Mimic. First Locust. First Kukulkan cameo. First Kukulkan. Everyone's favorite Kukulkan. First Cobalt Man. Third Juggernaut. First Morph, technically. First Meccano. First Lorna Dane. First Polaris cover. There's some significance to that. Larry Trask. First Havoc. First Sauron. I think that's the first time I've had that, actually. It's kind of cool. And then now we're into all the reprints until they get to 94. There's a lot of them. Kind of cool. I haven't really seen these very much. If you don't know, X-Men wasn't doing so well, so they did reprints until they did Giant Size X-Men and rebranded everything, and then restarted the series with 94. And then a couple issues after that, they added the Uncanny. We're almost there. Here we are. All new, all different X-Men 94. So, first Phoenix. First Ken. First John Byrne on X-Men. No Alpha Flight, all that stuff's missing. First Proteus. Yeah. Not really any other big keys coming up as far as I can remember. I also don't want this video to be like an hour long, so I won't be able to go through absolutely everything, but you can see there's a lot of X-Men. No 141 and 142 though, for whatever reason. A lot of copies of this. They all just weren't quite 9/8. So, yeah, neat. Now we're into the Fantastic Four. So first we got a bunch of annuals. First Marriage of Reed and Storm. First Golden Age Human Torch versus Silver Age Human Torch. First Psycho Man. There's a hot one right now. First Annihilus and Franklin Richards. Origin of Doctor Doom. First Multiple Man. And then the rest of the annuals are in the back because they're not quite keys. So we start at Fantastic Four 23. First Infant Terrible. First Franklin Storm. First Gorgon. First Inhumans. First cover of Black Bolt. First Alpha Primitives and Maximus. First Negative Zone. First John Prester. Iconic cover. Second Claw. Iconic Jack Kirby cover. Iconic Jack Kirby. Yeah, just a lot of minor keys. So obviously we skipped right through 48, 49, 50 because they weren't in there, which was kind of brutal. I really would have liked to have all those. So obviously picked through or sold first. First, Ronan the Accuser and the Supreme Intelligence. I love Ronan. First, origin of him, and then the first appearance of him, Adam Warlock.
Iconic cover. Jack Kirby, another one. I think a lot of these could be iconic covers. Maybe not so much that one. Some of these are pretty rough compared to the other ones. Crystal joins Fantastic Four. First Zor. First cover of Maximus. Second Franklin Richard. That is a pretty cool cover. Final Jack Kirby art on Fantastic Four. Sad. First cover of Agatha Harkness. Too bad that show sucked. I didn't watch it. Classic cover by John Buscema. Unfortunate about the white mold. First Overmind. First Thundera. And again, there's a lot of Fantastic Four. Here's all the giant size. These are all reprints. And then some more king size annuals. And then, yeah, all the way to the end. A lot more stuff. So this one's pretty cool. This is, it was an almost complete run of Ghost Rider. I had to buy from issue 70. It only went up to 75. So I had to buy the rest of them off of eBay to complete it up to 81. 81 is not quite a beater, but it's not as nice as the rest of them. I think it's Canadian price variant at least, so that's cool. But yeah, and there was multiple doubles and other things, so yeah, the Ghost Rider was probably one of the coolest things in it. So complete Ghost Rider one. 1, 2, 3. So this one is the only thing not going to the auction house, along with the Invaders, a complete collection. Because sometimes complete collections, I just rather move them on eBay. It's just cool having all these together. I've never read this run, so. They look sharp. Sorry, I don't really have like a snarky comment to say about every one of these covers, but they're all pretty sweet. That one's pretty sweet. That one's a little rougher compared to the rest of the ones, but that's awesome. So there was one I got off eBay that had the price sticker on it. So this is where the collection ended originally, so the rest of those are eBay purchases. So yeah, look for that or message me if you want it. Okay, so as you can see, most of them came in boxes like this. So they're not the worst comic boxes, better than Huggies boxes. But, so this is all Hulk. Continued from Tales to Astonish. Death of Missing Link. See, it goes from 102 right to 106, so it's not like the most complete, but first Galaxy Master. Classic Herb. Is it Trimp or Trimpe? I don't know. Herb Trimp. That's what I'm going to say. Hulk vs. Fantastic Four. Norris. First Doc Samson. First Valkyrie. First Inheritor. First Rhino versus Abomination versus Hulk. Pretty cool. Hulk Juggernaut team up. Just kind of want to read that. Death of Adam Warlock. Rebirth of Adam Warlock. Second Wolverine. Classic battle of Samson and the Hulk. So not a lot of keys past the point, but there is some. Bernie Wrightson cover. We're in some king size annuals. Second Groot. First Paragon. Yeah. So, and then more. Alright, so now we're into the Thor. Not a lot of early stuff, but first, Pluto, or Hades, Hippolyta, Midgard Serpent, and Vola. Bunch of Greek gods. Ares, Hermes, Hera, blah, blah, blah. Right? No significance, and then big time jump. I just have the keys in the front. First Fire Lord, second Fire Lord, awesome cover. First Shade Thralls, and then we got some King Size 2. First Thor meets Guardians of the Galaxy. First Athena, and then a couple more annuals. Not a lot of significance in these early ones. 203, 206. It started at 123 and then goes like right to 200. So cool stuff, but again, I just don't have time to do everything. So yeah, there's a bunch of Thor, as you can see. So this box is kind of dumb because he took it to some comic store first to get a valuation on it. I guess he didn't trust me or whatever, so whatever. And the guy at the comic store, dummy, took everything out of these plastic. Like what? You can't look through the plastic and see what the condition is? Like, okay. Anyway, so he opened all of these, so they're all loose now, and I didn't really want to go through. But yeah, it's a bunch of DC Comics Presents. And, yeah. Yeah, a bunch of DC Comics Presents. A lot of the keys aren't in there, like the first Mongol. Yeah. A bunch of Dazzler. Looks like 1 up to 22. And then a bunch of Captain America. And he put them all like out of order too. So now all the older ones are in the back. Really annoying. But what are you gonna do? Nothing. And then Champions starting from 1. And then 1 Crisis on Infinite Earths for some reason. And then a bunch of Contests of Champions. Okay, I'm gonna start ripping through these now. So a bunch of old Khazar, 70s and 80s. Machine Man, the entire run. And then Marvel 2-in-1, a lot. It's almost complete, but not quite. It's missing like, oh, I have it right here. It's missing 1, 4, and 5, and Annual 2. So it doesn't really sell for a lot. There's not a lot of interest in the Thing, I don't think. Maybe there will be after this movie, but I think it's going to be a piece of crap. Master of Kung Fu. Yeah, and a bunch of stuff that sticks together. And then some Micronauts in the back. Neat. So this box had a bunch of these, I call them little baby comics. These little ghosts and other ones. So, yeah. This box is kind of trash. Smallville. This is like the worst box. A bunch of New Universe, whatever. And ElfQuest. Who cares? Yeah. In the auction house if you really want it, right? Superboy. Legion of Superheroes. And then there is some older Superman in here. There's a classic cover, Neil Adams. Yeah, there's a bunch of Superman to the end. Alright, so we got a bunch of Defenders. Starting at 24, giant-sized Defenders. And then a bunch of Spider-Woman. Not complete, but goes up to about 45. And a couple issues of Star Wars. Strike Force Mordecai, Legion of Superheroes, and a bunch of older Superboys in the back. Iron Fist 15, of course, 14's not in here. So Wonder Woman, World of Krypton, World's Finest. Human Torch from the 70s, 25 centers, or 80s maybe, I'm not sure. Inhumans. And then some New Mutants, early New Mutants, and some Micronauts. And then some more Superboy in the back here. We got a bunch of new Teen Titans. Of course, 1 and 2 are missing. And then a bunch of Green Lantern and Green Arrow. And a couple Doctor Strange. And some She-Hulks. Savage She-Hulks. And some older Action Comics. Superman becomes Bizarro. First human target and a comic cover, and then marriage of Lois Lane and Clark Kent. So there's Action Comics, I guess all Action Comics, and then Adventure Comics, and then All-Star Squadron, Iraq, Son of Thunder, Orion, and then Atari Force. So here we have a bunch of Khazar. And a bunch of Luke Cage Power Man. This one's really packed up. And then a bunch of Marvel Team Up. Some of these are kind of cool. First team up of Spider-Man and Moon Knight. First John Byrne art on X-Men. First interracial kiss. Wonderful. First Captain Britain. First Arcade and Murder World. It's kind of funny. It's a Saturday Night Live character. Or a bunch of them. Dan Aykroyd and stuff. And Red Sonja becomes, or Mary Jane becomes Red Sonja. First Mockingbird. First Professor Power and a good cover. And first team up of Spider-Man, Daredevil, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist. Last here we got a bunch of new Teen Titans. Some more Superman. Superman Family. And a bunch of Super Team Family. Superman Family. And Phantom Zone. Neat. Alright, so that's pretty much the collection. This is a 9.8 grading pile still. And there is giant size Invaders and Invaders 1 to 41, I believe. So, yeah, pretty damn good collection.
Wow, what an amazing collection. So just a reminder, Raw comics are pretty much exclusively sold at the auction house. I don't really have time to deal with a lot of that stuff. We might do an auction for the just that whole collection in an auction. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. But if you want any of these, make sure you're checking out that auction every Monday. And yeah, so it's pretty damn awesome collection. You don't get stuff like that every day. And when I do get stuff like that, it's kind of hard for me to care about these other collections. I've turned down a lot of collections lately just because it's like so much work. Buying collections and bringing them upstairs and going through them and pulling stuff out. And I have so much stuff to grade. I'm sending in batches of 50. I don't know how long CGC is going to be doing that, the bulk 50. So I'm just getting as many in as I can during that time. But anyways, the giveaway might still be going. I'm not sure. If it is, comment down below. And if it's not, congratulations to the winners. And anyways, I think that's all the babbling I'm going to do. Again, check me out on eBay if you want any of that crap. Message me on Instagram or give me a call. And yeah, once again, Jesse James Jardine with Speedmail Comics. Keep it speedy, don't get needy. Thanks for not being greedy. That's an addendum. I'm going to leave.